Here she comes. Chris didn't get that forehand cross court as far as she wanted it. Now we're back live. That was the first serve at fault, 15-40. Pam Shriver trying to get even at 3-all in the second set.
She said you're supposed to be going to your left. You weren't supposed to be standing there waiting for me to hit my backhand volley down the line. Wrong guess.
Still break point. Forehand. The approach wasn't real deep, but boy, under pressure, Chrissy really made a darn good forehand. So it's deuce. Expect Pam to come in this time?
Yes, I was thinking that she should try to attack.
That's out. Another break point for Pam.
Chris knows she has to get her first serve in, because Pam will probably try to attack if she does miss her first serve.
Pam Shriver has broken back and gotten even at 3-all.
Second set.
Just seems a little patchy. She rears ahead, and then she made a couple more errors again that game. That short forehand, she looked a little bit tentative about where she was going to hit it, and then just too late.
Gotten much colder.
A little overcast. Getting on to 5:30, so it's kind of cooler and cooler. Ooh. Chris has driven a few shots right at Pam as she's come in, and I think it's not a bad tactic because Pam has good reach. She's about 6 feet tall.
I think it's a very good idea because, like when we were watching Stan Smith playing Vilas, and Vilas kept hitting his passing shot straight for him, and it was worked very often. Pam's volley is good when it's at a little distance from her. She hits it well out in front and very effectively.
Down the line lob.
Onto your backhand smash, which has got to be the hardest shot for anybody to hit.
If you're right-handed. I think that's why Martina does well, because she's being left-handed. Generally, it's an overhead for her.
And those kind of points have to take a little something out of Pam Shriver physically. She worked awfully hard on that point and ended up losing it. Good smash. Chris took a second look. She knows that ball is awfully close to the baseline. It's 30-all, 3-all second set. Women's singles finals, the U.S. Open Championships. Chris Evert has won the first set, 7-5.
First serve. Chris did well to get in position to play that ball as well as she did. Of course, Pam was right there at net.
serve was just wide. So Pam Shriver has held her serve. She leads 4 games to 3 in the second set. We'll be back in just a moment.
Look at yourself, sitting there watching other people play games, while your once hard body grows softer, and another weekend goes down the tube. We say, come on, stop spectating and get in the game. We're AMF. We make what it takes to renovate the body and raise the spirit. We make quality products, Voigt balls, Ben Hogan golf equipment, Harley-Davidson motorcycles. AMF. We make weekends.
All the guys that do commercials.
A very determined Pam Shriver continues to fight back. She's lost the first set 7-5 to the favorite Chris Evert. She has had her service broken twice in the second set, but has managed to come right back and break twice. So Chris Evert is serving at 3-4 in the second set. Really, it seems to me that's an awfully good sign for a youngster not to get discouraged. You're playing in front of all these people and against a great champion. Matter of fact, Chris has won this championship the last 3 years, and yet she's been able to come back and break serve after she's been broken.
Pam acted as if she's a little tired reaching for that backhand. She's run a lot of miles today, both have.
I think Pam's attitude looks very good because she certainly seems to be thinking only of the tennis and the game she's playing. And I've had that feeling as well during the week and in the dressing room that she keeps her mind on what she's doing, and she hasn't been affected by getting to the final. It hasn't gone to her head or anything like that.
30-15.
Seems as if it's difficult to keep the ball in from Pam Shriver's side to the other side.
Because of the wind or breeze.
It looks as if it is.
Good shot by Chris Evert. It was held serve, and it's now 4-all.
4 games all in the second set.
I think it's been happening all through the matches here when it's been a little breezy, is that one end's been decidedly harder to control the ball than the other. From Chris's end, that she seems to be able to hit more and hit through the wind.
Big serve and cracker-jack overhead by Pam Shriver.
She really goes for overhead. No in between for her.
Great volley.
Pam Shriver picking up the tempo a little bit, which is another good sign, I think. Instead of playing it cozy, go after it.
She lost a big match to Sue Barker at Wimbledon. She had match points. And I think she grew up a lot from that match. Even though she lost it, I think she learned from it. She's probably able to handle pressure much better since that moment.
See a great deal of concern on Chris Everett's face. That'll help take some of the concern away if she do that a few times in a row.
This is where Chris Evert is the most dangerous. Raise her game a level.
Well-placed volley that time by Evert.
40-30.
think she concentrates more or better when she's in this kind of a situation?
Champions always do. When you're in this kind of situation, it's 4-all. Now, you know that you're going to have to raise your game a level to stay even with champions.
Fine shot. And just as Billie Jean King said, championship shot by a champion under pressure, and is now deuce.
That's what separates the girls from the women.
I think it's so vital whenever you 40 love up to try and win that next point. How many games does one lose when you think you've won it? Good point.
Chris anticipated that correctly. But still too good a volley by Pam Shriver.
Volley was wide. And again, it is deuce. Pam wasn't timid about going after that high forehand volley either, was she?
She really goes for that. Tennis is a game of inches.
Oh, shoot!
And it's now break point for Chris Evert.
Don't you feel as if she served too many serves to the forehand? Of course, Chris is guessing her right.
Yeah, I think she'd be smart also to serve a few straight at Chris instead of going wide all the time, of course. Got to mix it up some. So Chris Evert has broken serve for the third time in the second set. She leads 5. Excellent lob by Pam Shriver, right into the backhand corner. Chrissy, I think, made a tactical error in not throwing that ball up in the air. Love 15. Good shot by Evert. One thing that Pam has not done a great deal that I think would help her would be come in up the middle, approach up the center to cut down the angles for Chris Evert. 15-all. It is wide.
15-13.
Got Chrissy talking to herself a little bit. 15-30.
I think Chris changed her mind on that last shot. When she was coming back, she was telling herself to come over the ball on her forehand.
Oh, it's dangerous. It's now double break point.
Non-percentage shot, especially
Ooh.
standing on the baseline. Very rarely do you see Chris Evert make that mistake. That's called a mental error as well as an execution error.
Double break point for Pam Shriver, and I would be very surprised if Pam doesn't come right in behind this return. Excellent backhand up the line under pressure, but it's still break point. Concentration on faces of both players. It's out.
Pam
It's
very
deuce.
rarely hits a backhand down the line, Tony. Very rarely does Pam Shriver hit a backhand down the line. I think you're going to have both going for you. Keep Chris honest.
And it's now match point for Chris Evert. And no matter what happens, you've got to give Pam Shriver a tremendous amount of credit.
Absolutely.
Love's out.
Still attacking Pam Shriver. Very gutsy effort under the circumstances.
You bet. And she made a good approach shot. She had some pace on it. She didn't pray it into the court. That is wide. Again, break point for Shriver.
Not responding. What a fighter in Pam Shriver.
And we're back to deuce. Chris Evert has been getting her first serves in these last few points, not hitting it quite as hard, but spinning it to make sure she gets it in to keep Pam from attacking right off the bat. Evert drops one over the net and gets back to match point. Pam Shriver fell down in semi-mock fatigue. The crowd loves it.
Advantage, Evert.
What a tactician in Chris Evert.
Match point for the second time. Long.
Yes. Definitely carried that forehand.
Chris seems to have got a little bit careful. When she's down the game point, she makes sure she doesn't miss it, but I thought she might go for one when she had match point.
And again, match point for Chris Evert. This is number 3. Chrissy sort of looked up to the sky and took a deep breath, saying, wow, let's get this one.
Knowing Chris Evert, she will.
Oh, it's pressure time. Short approach shot. There it is. Game, set, and match for Chris Evert. 7-5, 6-4. Mrs. Evert, so happy for Chrissy, and rightfully so. And wherever you are, Mrs. Shriver, be equally happy for your daughter, Pam. A super job. Just listen to that ovation from this